Consumers have the travel bug again.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. On the road and at home, customers can simplify their insurance needs and protect what's important by bundling home and auto with Progressive Insurance. Learn more about Progressive and bundling at progressive.com.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. Shares of Booking Holdings are popping this morning. Booking Holdings is the company behind Booking.com, Priceline, Kayak, a bunch of other travel and leisure sites. The company announced yesterday that profits were up almost 50% last quarter compared to a year earlier. Lots of companies in the travel industry are reporting better profit margins, which is another way of saying that consumers are paying more. Marketplace's Nova Safo is here with the details. Hi, Nova.
Good morning, Sabri.
So Booking's doing well. What do we know about how other travel companies are doing?
Well, consumers are paying more everywhere. It's been pretty much the same story throughout the travel industry. We've heard from Airbnb, Expedia, all reporting strong sales. Overseas travel is doing particularly well. Travel in Europe, the Asia Pacific region, Booking saw revenue up 14% compared to a year ago. Expedia previously reported a 10% increase. Airbnb is up 12%. And all of this because households with $100,000 or more in income, which make up a vast majority of travelers, are still doing well in this economy, Sabri, and they want to travel.
How are airlines doing?
Well, we've heard from all the major U.S. carriers and European ones, and they're predicting better results this year compared to last. And that's because of both the strong demand out there and also limited capacity. Now, that's an additional issue over at the airlines. They don't have enough planes. That's not changing anytime soon. Both Airbus and Boeing are behind in their deliveries. The airlines also have been generally more disciplined about increasing capacity this year compared to last. Last year, carriers found themselves with just too many seats to sell, and all of a sudden they were in a price war, and that hurt their profits. Not this time, and that means higher ticket prices. People are feeling that already. By one estimate, tickets sold through travel agencies were up 17% this year compared to last. That was around December. So that's a huge increase, Sabri.
Yeah. All right. Marketplace is Nova Safo. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's do the numbers. Dow futures are down 0.5%. S&P futures are pretty much flat. NASDAQ futures up 0.4%. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.492%. Speaking at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference, billionaire and Doge head Elon Musk said he's thinking about auditing the Federal Reserve and verifying whether there's still gold at Fort Knox. The Federal Reserve is audited every year and posts the results. Fort Knox, also audited every year.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Think or Swim. More at schwab.com. And by Sony Pictures Classics presenting I'm Still Here, starring Fernanda Torres. A woman reinvents herself after suffering an injustice, now playing select cities.
You can gamble at convenience stores. You can gamble on your smartphone, online, on sports, on really anything at this point. You can credit or blame Massachusetts for that. Scratch and Win is a new podcast from Boston-based GBH News about how we got to this place of ubiquitous gaming/gambling. The host is Ian Koss, and he spoke with my colleague David Brancaccio.
Sounds like the Bay State was, what should we call it, a cauldron of innovation when it comes to gambling and lotteries?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. A really important thing to understand is that early on when the state lotteries got rolling in the 60s and 70s, these were incredibly conservative agencies. They were terrified of, breaking the public's trust, of, getting infiltrated by the mob. So they did not try a lot of new things. What happens in Massachusetts is that the state lottery winds up in the hands of this state treasurer who was kind of a vaudeville guy. He'd literally grown up the son of a vaudeville stagehand. He loved to sing. He had this sort of showman personality. The treasurer, Bob Crane, singing at a nursing home back in the 1970s. He had this whole group called the Treasury Notes that used to go around and perform. You can see how the culture in Massachusetts around innovation, experimentation, and really entertainment was very different from the start.
All right, we think of like drawing ping pong balls in a random drawing when you think of the lottery. But of course, another part of it is the scratch ticket.
Scratch tickets are the bread and butter game of all state lotteries. That's not just Massachusetts. It's something like 2/3 of all lottery sales. And that's $100 billion industry, if you want to call it an industry. And scratch tickets start in Massachusetts. It really is the first and most important of the innovations that happened here. And I spent some time at a convenience store in Quincy, Mass. I met this man who's a mechanic who did not want to share his name, but would come there every day on his lunch break and spend literally hundreds of dollars.
So what are you playing right now?
I play $50 every day.
Have you won yet?
Right there. So far, I already spent $300 on the bucket. There's nothing.
So why do you keep playing?
I'm dreaming to get that big one.
Yeah.
So I can retire. I'm 75 years old.
Yeah.
I don't have money in retirement. Too late to start now because I already spent so much money. So maybe this one, but end up getting broke.
And that's really, I mean, the scratch ticket, if you think about it, that is, instant gambling anywhere, anytime in the palm of your hand, started in 1974 in Massachusetts.
Yeah, instant gratification. And how does that vignette help us understand where we are today nationwide?
Lotteries, they kind of did the political work and a lot of the cultural work of bringing gambling out of the shadows of society and into the open. Back in the 60s, gambling was something you associated either with Las Vegas or the mob. And lotteries, by taking this thing that was vice, that was in the shadows, putting the state's stamp of approval on it, it really brings it out into the open. And that's what sets the stage for casino expansion in the 1990s, for states to get into sports betting, and really everything that we're living in today.
Ian Koss is the host of Scratch and Win, a podcast from GBH News. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Ian, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Ian was speaking there with Marketplace's David Brancaccio. Our executive producer is Kelly Silvera. Our digital producer is Dylan Mietinen. Our engineers are Brian Allison and John Brewington. And I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From 8 p.m., American Public Media.